In December of 1993, an issue of a Japanese educational magazine known as Second Grade was released and remembered for a big reason. Many readers recall numerous print ads for an official Kirby phone line call service where people could talk to Kirby. Now, despite the call only lasting for 1 minute, many fans still believed it was a great experience. However, one of the biggest mysteries from the audio call was who voiced Kirby. It couldn't have been Makiko Omoto, since she didn't voice Kirby until 1999 for Super Smash Bros. It was suggested that it might have been Teiko Kawata, since she voiced him just a year later in the Kirby drama CD. But unfortunately for the fans of the service, the phone line would discontinue just 1 month after its release. It was even stated in another print ad that said this: Kirby's phone calls will be returned to King DDD, so Kirby's chatter phone calls will end on December 29th. I'm sorry that I've had so many calls that it's hard to answer at times. Someday when the phone returns to Kirby's house, we'll talk. I was able to get the rest of the print ad translated, which just shows Kirby talking to King DDD and the last message from Kirby himself. Since this was only a 1 month service, essentially no known archives of the audio call have been saved, which has actually disappointed a ton of Kirby fans since this is such an obscure piece of lost media. I was a contestant on a nearly complete but cancelled and shelved NBC game show Ultimate Slip and Slide due to an explosive diarrhea outbreak on set. Ask me anything. This was posted on the Lost Media subreddit and was a title like that. I was oddly intrigued for some reason. The post continues with this: in 2021, my girlfriend and I were contestants on NBC's Ultimate Slip and Slide, which was set to premiere after the Olympics that summer. The show was nearly complete but cancelled and deleted after a Giardia outbreak that caused explosive diarrhea. The show was filmed outside LA and included some wild sets. It was a crazy experience seeing how game shows are filmed, and sad that I'll never see the episode or even any promo photos. The show was unpaid and they collected different interview outfits from us that were never returned after the show was cancelled. We were also never reimbursed for the lost clothing. It was a big mess. I wasn't affected by Giardia, but I remember being freaked out by the set after I found a little worm in my fruit cup. They never confirmed if the Giardia breakout was from the pools on set, drinking water, or the food they served. The show was now lost media. After this, it didn't take that long for others to recognize the show the OP was talking about, and we got even more insight. Oh, I remember when this happened because the name of the show and the reason it was shelved made me laugh for like a week solid. Were you offered compensation as hush money or as an apology for the whole nightmare? No money. I honestly wish I could have just seen clips or photos from it. Everything went into the vault. How bad was the smell on set? How much of the cast/crew would you say got it? I was only on my way to set for an additional day of filming when the breakout occurred. Halfway there, they called us and said turn around. When I was on set, there were a ton of crew members working, so the outbreak couldn't have been really big. The OP would go on to later explain other details of the show, such as who were the hosts of the episodes, some of the challenges, and being on set. I tried to see if there was extra information online regarding the episode, and luckily there were some articles giving more detail about it. As explained, the show's production was indefinitely shut down on June 2nd, 2021, as the water used on the set, which included a 65-foot tall slippery yellow slide, was tested for parasites by the LA and Ventura County Health Departments, as well as a third-party environmental lab. Numerous tests were done on the location spawned, well, the slide pool, water truck, and a restroom sinks, but they thankfully all came back negative. Unfortunately, additional testing was done, and it revealed that Giardia was found in the nearby area. Also, out of the 40 contestants, one of them tested positive for Giardia. But yeah, as previously mentioned before, there's no promo photos, there's no footage, there's literally nothing about this since it was unreleased. So all we can really base it upon is on these articles. Around 2007, a company known as Create Studios was working on a Frisbee game prototype for the Nintendo Wii. The purpose of the game was to show off the console's new tech and motion controls. This included the game's physics and impacts of wind and collisions with obstacles. The only problem with the game was that when it was proposed to some publishers, they believed that the game wouldn't garner any attention at all, and that it was just a cheap project for the casual market. and so because of that, the game was never fully developed. The only pieces of media are screenshots and a 1-minute clip of the game's prototype. Judging by the prototype, it didn't seem all too exciting, and while the game was never released, players got to see what the game could have been just 2 years later in 2009, when Dog Frisbee and Frisbee Golf was included in Wii Sports Resort. But like even then, were people really playing the Frisbee game mode? Probably not. All I remember from Wii Sports Resort is the cycling game. Not too sure why, and basketball. I was bro, let me just tell you this. I was screening every shot. Every shot I took went in. Like, it was amazing. Beyond Belief is a documentary-style series posted by Jay Potter that aired on Nickelodeon from October 10th, 1992, June 25th, 1994. Each episode had multiple segments of interesting facts about various topics. From the only available known footage on YouTube, the episode discussed the French catacombs, how Archimedes used solar energy as a weapon for war, and the opera Charles VI. Scrolling through the YouTube comments, so many people were happy to see this just because it brought so many memories. Other episodes were briefly discussed as well, as they faintly recall what they remembered. But for unknown reasons, the show was cancelled in June 1994 and has since fallen into obscurity. Besides the full episode, a TV guide listing all of the show's debut, Reddit post, and an IMDb page that has little information have been found. A Reddit post was made in 2018 when a user asked those in the r/television subreddit if they remembered anything about the show. This generated some responses, as this person remembered a screening on early Saturday mornings and that there was a segment about a saint that was 100 years dead but whose body never decomposed. They also mentioned that there was another segment that talked about the Skull Chapel in Czech Republic. And one other person stated that there was a segment dedicated to the real-life Snow White, where a woman was stored in a grandfather clock. But as of now, no other pieces of media have been resurfaced. I know this might be a long shot, but if any of you watching remember this show, feel free to let me know in the comments and write down anything that you remember. Little Big Arcade is a Facebook game created by Kirby. The purpose was to develop and design a quick play arcade game on Facebook to promote Little Big Planet 2. Players could create their own environment and characters like the original Little Big Planet series, but this time, players could then share their creation by posting about it on Facebook and allowing others to see, which was the whole part of the marketing aspect behind the game. After Little Big Planet 2 was released, Little Big Arcade was completely wiped off Facebook. No photos, videos, or user-generated levels exist. The only archive media that references Little Big Arcade is of Kirby's portfolio talking about the game. Me Too or Moi was a Canadian children's show that aired between 2002 to 2003 on CBC. It was created by production company Zone 3. According to Zone 3's website, it was stated that a total of 71 episodes, with each one being roughly 15 minutes, was spread across 2 whole seasons. The unique part about the show was that there was actually 2 versions to it. One of them was in English and the other was in French. But even with this uniqueness, this caused a bit of confusion in the lost media community. Both the English and French Zone 3 websites have some differences regarding the show's details. In the French version, it was stated that the show starred 4 kids, while the English had 3. Even the plot was somewhat of a tricky one to find, but after finding it on the Zone 3 French website, it said this: designed for preschoolers, the Moi series revolves around the daily lives of 4 little kids aged 4 to 6, Jacko, Kim, Lori, and Adam. Each show had its own theme, which is introduced by a brief voxbox to children in daycare. Then, a short drama puts the hero of the day in a situation, which brings him, with the help of magic, into the fanciful universe of Agathe, a gentle fairy tale character. Agathe knows how to amuse or comfort her young visitor according to her needs. Then Agathe invites the little ones home to participate in the drawing game and those in daycare to mimic the nursery rhyme. Due to a sudden rise of popularity regarding the show, older forums and threads from 4chan resurfaced. One of the users named Cottonmouse described how they remembered the show. It was very low budget. It would just come on interrupting whatever regular kids show was on, and every episode was pretty much the same. A kid would run into the same circle shape set that looked like something out of a crappy sitcom, the type of thing that is very obviously not a full room. The kid would wish awkwardly for something and then rub the cotton ball and say, "Fluffy, fluffy, cotton puffy. I wish I may, I wish I might," or something to that effect. Although I remember the fluffy, puffy, cotton puffy phrase to be a direct quote. After that, a person in the giant cotton ball would run in from the other side of the set and creepily hug the kid. The kids always look reluctant to hug it. It would grant the wish, which would usually be something medial like wanting a popsicle or something, and then the kid would say some other rhyme that I can't remember for the life of me, and the ball would fade out of the screen like it was superimposed in probably some jump cut editing my 7-year-old mind couldn't comprehend at the time. No intro or outro, no scheduled time slot it would come on, and it would only last like 3 to 4 minutes. With the hype of finding a show becoming even more popular as days went on, a Reddit thread was posted to the r/tip-of-my-tongue subreddit by users Lakers24Tyson. Some valuable information was revealed, such as the show's name, which wasn't known at the time, an official logo, and a blog post written by someone who possibly worked on the show. However, since then, the link has been corrupted. A much more updated mention of the show was made in 2021 on the Lost Media subreddit by user Melinag, which provided the most sources for the show as characters, an old blog, and led to the discovery of the only surviving still from the show. Just shortly after, more website archives were resurfaced that contained extra information about the show. According to the details, Lori, Jacko, Adam, and Kim were the 4 main children in the show. They are all between the ages of 5 to 6.5 years old, and their families all live in the same apartment building. It goes on to later explain some of their hobbies and personality. They also shared a little bit more about Fluffy. As stated before, in order to contact Fluffy, the children would just have to rub a small ball of cotton wool between their hands and she would appear. Essentially, her role was to be their little support buddy and guide them through their adventures. And just for a little bit of more detail, the parents of the show were also mentioned. With many leads popping up more frequently, it was just a matter of time until a Lost Media video was made on the show. On June 6, 2021, a creator by the name Anya Panda made a great video describing and documenting her search for the show, as she remembered watching it when she was a child. Not only did she provide the available known details surrounding the show, she went out of her way to try to contact those involved with the show's production, and she even tried to contact a crew member, but unfortunately she had no luck as she didn't get a response. A month later in July, a Lost Media Wiki user named Miska found an archive for the old website for the show, a couple of plot lines for certain episodes, and some new air times. It was originally believed that it only premiered in the early mornings, but the website stated numerous other time slots. The show aired from Monday through Friday at 3:15 p.m, but was later changed to 6:45 a.m. Another screenshot of the CBC children's TV schedule from December 2002 showed it aired during 10 a.m. After all of this, the search for the show kinda slowed down. But despite many old archives of the show's episodes' plots resurfacing, there was still no available footage, not even a single second. But this later changed on December 11th, 2021, when user NerdFan99 made a huge discovery, and it's arguably the biggest one in the search till this day. Finally, a full episode was found.
Hello, superhero.
Fluffy, I just played superhero with Mommy.
Oh, yes?
Yes, and there were lots of sharks in the sea.
I took a peek at the subreddit for the show and it's been quiet for numerous months. I honestly believe there are still people out there searching, so if any of you watching, once again, have any details or new information regarding the show, you know what to do. Just let me know in the comments and I'll pin it most likely and I'll interact with it. You guys know me, I respond to basically every comment, so I'll be more than happy to read it. Lost TV shows have always been interesting to me, and it's pretty neat to see a Canadian show get some attention since, from what I've seen, anything regarding Canadian Lost Media doesn't really receive that much attention, so it's cool to see that something like this popped up. Webkinz is a stuffed animal and video game franchise created by the toy company Gans. When released in April 2005, no one expected the Webkinz franchise to become immediately successful, but surprisingly, the website garnered over 1 million concurrent players in 2006. I first started playing it around 2008-2009 and I was pretty much addicted to it. I had so many good memories with that game, and even though I was pretty addicted to it, I remember it wasn't necessarily some of the games that caught my attention, it was more the daily events. This included the Curio Shop Gem Hunt, Wheel of WoW, and of course this segment's topic, the Wishing Well, specifically the original version. Wishing Well 1 was an arcade game that was introduced on an unknown date. The game works by pressing the roll icon button. When the rolling stops, you can see which icon appears on the screen, in which if you get 2 or more of the same icons next to each other, you'll earn the site's in-game currency known as Kinz Cash. Every icon has its own different value, which means that players had an opportunity to potentially gain a ton of Kinz Cash. And similar to other topics discussed in this video, Wishing Well 1 was taken off the platform for unforeseen reasons. Well, technically it was taken off for one day and then replaced to Wishing Well 2, but it was never fully explained why. This shocked many, and so it was taken onto Reddit. User Gender Outlaws and their friend made a Reddit post discussing how they bought a Webkinz toy to play online. When they entered the arcade, they noticed that the Wishing Well game was still present, but it was named Wishing Well 2. Due to confusion, they decided to look for answers online on what happened. They stumbled upon a Webkinz guide and soon realized that it was taken away on July 12, 2007. It was speculated that the game resembled the appearance of a slot machine and that the company was concerned that they were promoting gambling to children, and that's why it needed an update. From what they found, there are only 2 known clips on YouTube that show footage of the original Wishing Well. This video shows a short, low quality snippet of the game, and in the description, the uploader links the original video that they got the footage from. After more snooping, an official post on the GAN's World website does indeed talk about the game. Many fans of Wishing Well 2 have asked, what did the original Wishing Well look like? While the core gameplay of the matching rows has remained the same, we wanted to update the design to make it more like an actual Wishing Well. Now I have personally never played the original version, I only played the second. I mean, it was still fun, I will say that, it was definitely fun. But like I was saying, I noticed that there was a bit of a different item used in the original game that didn't seem to make the cut in the second one. As you can see, there's an item known as the wild card that could resemble any Webkinz or fruit in the game, which allows another opportunity for players to receive a larger Kinz Cash prize. Also, can we just look at the rewards? Like, that is insane. I mean, just look at the reward for 5 wells. Anyways, let's move along. Sorry, I just had a nostalgia trip. I just remember playing that game basically every day. I had a chicken, alligator, a crocodile, I think, a lion, and then I had something else. I don't remember any of their names. I know I named the crocodile or alligator, whichever one. I named him Simon. Unfortunately, I don't have the stuff like toys with me at all, which sucks because I would have been showing you guys. But I know I've done this a couple times, but if any of you have played Webkinz or have any memory of the game, let me know in the comments what animals you had and what your favorite game was. Stygian is an Australian indie horror film produced by Hybrid Films in the year 1998. What made this film important was that it was technically James Wan's directional debut and filmmaking career. If you're unaware of who James Wan is, he's most notable for being creators and co-creators of well-known horror movie franchises such as Saw, Insidious, and much more. Just for a quick overview, the film is about the story of Jamie and Melinda, an innocent young couple who find themselves the inadvertent victims in the chance of death, accidentally becoming the bearers of a mystical talisman sought after by the evil Reaper brothers. The couple find themselves trapped in another world called Exile, a gutter punk purgatory for the world's dead bad guys. Lost and alone, Jamie must seek out Melinda in this strange new world, but he soon discovers he's not alone. Stygian wasn't really well known during the early 2000s since James Wan barely addressed it, and during the film's production in 1998, both James Wan and co-director Shannon Young were still film students and had a very little budget. But that didn't stop them from still working on it. Eventually the film premiered at the Melbourne Underground Film Festival in 2000. I did a bit of digging and a report was written about some of the films that premiered that night, which featured a small section to Stygian. Stygian allows its ambition to exceed its abilities as it puts its highly capable male lead through a feature-length chase sequence. This action fantasy does require audience stamina, but packs itself with invention, especially in the area of makeup special effects. So you may be thinking, okay, so it won an award, a lot of people enjoyed it, why was it never released? Well, it's been speculated that they felt that the final version could have just been way better. I mean, at the end of the day, it was still an indie film, and like I said, they didn't have a huge budget, so in their best interest, they just decided, you know what, we're not going to release this. So with that being said, would it ever be released? And surprisingly, this Reddit user was able to contact Shannon Young, but when they got that email, they got a disclaimer saying that they couldn't share any of the information on the email and that it's for private viewing only. So I don't know, kind of skeptical on that. All that was stated was that they wouldn't release it at all and that their opinion was likely never going to change. Something else that was brought up was old magazines that were once available to purchase that had some information about Stygian, but other than that, all we are left with is this one image, which to me seems to be a frame or potentially some part of a title card for the film. If you made it to this point of the video, I just want to thank you so much for staying and watching. It means so much to me. Alright, so future updates. What do I have to say? Sorry, I'm kind of tired right now. It's literally like, it's 1:35 in the morning. I'm recording this at 1 in the morning. And I kind of have a sore throat, so that doesn't really help either. But okay, yo, the ASMR channel. If you guys have been keeping up with it, I know I mention it all the time. I'm gonna keep mentioning it. It's so great. I hit 1,000 subscribers literally recently. So thankful, like that's insane. I never expected to hit it that quickly. A little bit of a promo, but if you guys are interested in ASMR content, you know, I'll keep the details in the description, probably in the pinned comment, you never know. But yeah, regarding this channel, I'm still experimenting with things. Don't know what I truly want to do. Definitely still gonna make horror content, or like, is it even horror content? It's more like internet mysteries, lost media, and sometimes a bit of true crime, so I'm going to keep doing the same thing, looking for popular topics, see what people are looking for, and this channel is going to get to 100k hopefully this year. I'm just hoping, but I got to put in the work, so that's really all on me. But yeah, as always, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're doing great. Please let me know how you're doing in the comments. I'll respond to it. I respond to basically every comment, and yeah, just let me know how you're feeling. But yeah, I'm going to end off the video now. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you watching have a great rest of your day. But before you leave, do not leave yet. Please don't leave. I just want to let you know I truly mean that. I truly hope you, yes you, the person watching right now, the person I'm pointing at, have a great rest of your day. Alright, I'm going to end it off now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.